I had been working the graveyard shift at Beck's Gas Convenience for about 6 months. It was one of those tiny gas stations off the main highway, surrounded by miles of dense forest. Most of my shifts were spent alone, except for the occasional trucker or stranded traveler looking for gas or snacks. But that night was different. That was the night she came. It was around 3:15 a.m. when I first noticed her. She was standing just outside the glass doors, her face hidden by a white hoodie, standing completely still. She wasn't trying to come in. She wasn't moving at all. I hesitated before hitting the automatic door unlock button. As soon as I did, she didn't walk inside. She just tilted her head slightly. Then she started whispering. It wasn't directed at me. It was erratic, muttered under her breath, like she was having a conversation with someone invisible. But she was alone. A cold feeling crawled up my spine. "Miss, do you need help?" I called out. She didn't answer. Her lips kept moving, but I couldn't hear the words. Then she slowly reached into her hoodie pocket. I tensed, my hand instinctively going toward the silent alarm button under the register. She pulled out a cell phone, but the screen was completely black. And then, suddenly, it lit up. Not with a phone number, not with an app, with a live video feed of me. I froze. It was surveillance footage of the store, but from a camera angle that didn't exist. It showed me, standing behind the counter, but from behind my shoulder. I turned around so fast I nearly fell backward. No one was there. When I looked back, the woman was gone. The doors never opened. The bell never rang. She had vanished. I locked up early that night, but I never stopped wondering, was she showing me the footage, or was someone else watching me in real time? I had been working at the Sunset Inn for about a year when it happened. A small, old motel just off the Arizona highway, mostly filled with travelers, truckers, and the occasional drifter who needed a place to crash. I worked the night shift alone. The pay was decent, and my only real company was the buzzing neon sign outside and the occasional radio chatter from the police scanner I kept on for background noise. Most nights were uneventful, until that one. It was 2:30 a.m. when I first noticed something off. I was checking the surveillance monitors, a habit I'd picked up over time. Most of the screens showed empty hallways, a dimly lit parking lot, and the main entrance. But one of the back hallway cameras caught my attention. A man was standing perfectly still, just outside the door leading to the motel's storage room. At first I thought it was a glitch. The camera was old, the image flickered occasionally, but something was wrong. The man wasn't blurry. He was moving ever so slightly, like he was rocking back and forth, his head tilted at an unsettling angle. I switched to another camera. The hallway was empty. My stomach dropped. I switched back. He was still there. I leaned closer. His face was turned slightly towards the camera, but his eyes were locked onto mine, as if he knew I was watching him. I sat frozen, heart pounding, trying to convince myself I was imagining things. But then, a knock. Not from the lobby doors, not from a guest room. It came from the back office door. I nearly jumped out of my chair. That door led to the surveillance room, a place no guest should have access to. I grabbed my phone and texted my boss, "Someone's at the surveillance room door. I think they got inside." No response. The knock came again, louder, harder. I forced myself to stand, gripping the metal flashlight we kept under the desk. My hands were sweating. I walked toward the back door, every step feeling heavier than the last. I placed my ear against the wood. Silence. Then, "I see you." A voice, whispered, low, right on the other side. I stumbled back, nearly tripping over my own feet. My heart was hammering against my ribs. Then, without warning, the knocking stopped. I didn't hear footsteps, no shuffling, no movement at all. I slowly reached for the door handle and swung it open. No one was there. The hallway was completely empty. The air felt wrong, thick, like I had stepped into a place I wasn't supposed to be. And then, on the floor, right in front of the surveillance room door, there was a single motel keycard. Room 204. I knew for a fact that room wasn't occupied. At least it wasn't supposed to be. I didn't check. I didn't even wait for my shift to end. I grabbed my things, locked up, and left. I never went back. But to this day, I still wonder, who knocked on that door? And more importantly, who was in room 204? I had been working the overnight shift at Walmart for 2 years when I found the basement door. The thing is, we don't have a basement. At least that's what I'd always been told. But that night, I found proof that was a lie. It started like any other shift. I was in the warehouse section, stocking inventory, when I noticed a metal door at the end of the farthest aisle. A door that wasn't supposed to exist. I had been working here for 2 years, and I had never seen it before. There were no exit signs, no hazard warnings, just a thick industrial metal door with a rusted handle. It had no lock. Just a single dented sign that read, "Do not open." I stared at it, my gut twisting. I should have walked away. But my curiosity got the best of me. I turned the handle, and it opened. A freezing gust of air hit me the second the door creaked open. Not normal cold. It was the kind of deep, unnatural cold that made your breath feel like it was freezing inside your chest. I stepped forward. The walls were lined with rotting wooden shelves, coated in dust so thick it looked untouched for decades. A set of rusted metal stairs led down into darkness. I aimed my flashlight into the pit below. The staircase kept going and going, way deeper than should have been physically possible. I took a step onto the first stair. It groaned beneath my weight. Then a sound from below, a low, wheezing breath. My entire body locked up. It wasn't just one breath. There were multiple, like several people breathing in unison, hidden in the dark. I should have run. I should have slammed the door and never looked back. But instead, I aimed my flashlight further down. That's when I saw them. Pale hands gripping the railing. Not just one set. 5, maybe 6. All clinging to the rusted metal, long, bony fingers wrapped around the bars like they were waiting for me. Then, all at once, they yanked themselves upward. I saw their faces for the first time. Hollow, sunken eyes. Skin stretched too tight over their skulls, mouths hanging open, gasping like they were suffocating. They moved fast, faster than I thought was possible. I turned and ran, slamming the metal door shut behind me. I pressed my back against it, heart hammering, expecting to feel them slamming against the other side. But there was nothing. Silence. I reached for my phone, hands shaking, and pulled up the Walmart floor plan from our employee database. That door? It didn't exist. The warehouse ended 20 feet before where I had found it. I checked again the next night. The door was gone. Just an empty wall where it had been. I told my manager. He just stared at me, his face pale. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, he said, "Don't talk about that door again." I transferred stores a week later. But sometimes when I walk down empty aisles at night, I swear I can still hear them. Wheezing, waiting. If you work the night shift, stay alert. You never know who or what